Hi guys, it's France. It's almost 1 a.m. over here. I must admit, recording this journal on Monday turned out to be a real fight because none of the computers in the house decided to cooperate on this one. Well, it's week 72 of the journal on Monday and we're finally rolling. So for this first layer, I'm just gluing down bits and pieces of paper that I used to mop up excess ink and paint, and I had no idea what to do with this page. And what's more, I had my kids with me in the studio, so I wanted to keep it quite simple so that they could play along with me. So just gluing these bits and pieces of paper down using decoupage glue, and I'm also applying glue on top of the paper to make sure that whatever the blue color is on there will stay on there when I go on layering and adding texture to the spread. I'm just taking the excess away by ripping it off, so that I have a nice edge on my spread. Then to blend everything together, I'm going in with some fresco finish by Paper Artsy. This is the snowflake, which is a white one. You could do the same with any acrylic paint or gesso for that matter. I'm diluting it down by spraying some water on top of it, moving it around with a sponge, and then blending it a bit more with a wet baby wipe. To add a bit of an edge to my spread, I'm going in with archival ink. I could have done this with any permanent black ink. And I'm also applying it a bit on the spread to accentuate the texture of the different pieces of paper that I have on there. Even the ripples, it's fun to accentuate the ripples, will add extra texture to your page. Then I want to add Colorex next on, but to do so I need a porous surface, and as I've used the decoupage glue on top of my paper, it's not porous anymore, and clear gesso do just that. Once it's dry, I can take the protection of, I can add some protection on the center of my book where I don't have any decoupage glue, so that I can safely spread on my water and my Colorex. For all the details of the colors that I'm using, check out my blog. You'll find the complete list of ingredients on there. Sorry about the sun peeking through. I forgot the blinds weren't closed and I was completely absorbed by what I was doing. Now that everything's dry, I can go on playing, and this time I'm going in with black gesso on top of my new very favorite Crafters Workshop stencil. I'm just applying the black gesso with a sponge, and if you like this stencil, I'd invite you to follow me either on my Facebook page or on my Google account, as I have quite a big surprise coming up for you guys. And as my son was playing with acrylic paint next to me and he had quite some paint over, I just used some of his to complete this layer on my spread. And then doing the same again with the snowflake fresco paint to tone down the black a bit. So I'm just going on the exact same spots, but this time with the white paint. Adding some splatters of Colorex. And then I decided to tone down the black and white acrylic paint a bit. So I just took a wet baby wipe and started taking a bit of the paint away. Now I can do this because I have the clear gesso underneath, and the clear gesso will act as a resist. And I'm going back in with the Colorex, as it did suffer a bit from the wet baby wipe. No such thing as too much splatters. Then, taking out 2 pages from an old book, I'm just tearing them down so that I can use them at the middle, in the center of my spread. And once I'm happy with all the pieces I have there, I can add some vintage photo distress ink to the edges. Then I'm going back in with the black archival ink, as my edge did suffer a bit from the gesso and the Colorex and the water, so I'm just accentuating the black again a bit. Again, the sepia and the tobacco Colorex, just to add some marks on my spread. And you could do the same with coffee or a dark tea for this. I want these pieces of craft to have a bit more color, so I'm adding distress ink, and I'm adding old paper, rusty hinge, vintage photo and black soot, and just some splatters of water to, well, to move it around just a tiny bit. again using a photo that I just printed on our printer's paper. And to add a bit more of interest, I'm adding some cambric that I colorized with the sepia and the tobacco Colorex again. I also added some vintage photo distress ink, and as my paper is very thin, I cannot use any glue on this one, so I have to use my double-sided tape for this to glue it down on the black cardstock. Securing my photo in place with my tiny attacher, and that's the moment when I got some problems with my camera too, because I also added some sewing to my photo after I added my journaling. This is not the only journaling I added, but my camera didn't want to record that piece. So I hope you liked today's page. I'm wishing you all a very happy week and see you back next Monday if my computer agrees. See you then. Ta-da!